Hey y'all, welcome back to the channel. It's your girl Jinx. If you're new here, welcome to the chaos, welcome to the issues, the situations, welcome to the juicy gossip. And if you're not new here, welcome back to hell, where we talk about all juicy information, all of the good vibes, all of the updates on life, workout videos, or today, in fact, just maybe some spooky stories. So if you don't know, or if you forgot or didn't know, a couple days ago was Valentine's Day. And if you don't know what Valentine's Day is, if you were living under a rock, Valentine's Day is basically Christmas for the lovers, for the significant others, for all the people that have a person out there that they care about. Pretty much, you give them gifts, you shower them with food, flowers, chocolate-covered strawberries, if you're into that sort of thing, like me. Or honestly, if you're an introvert like myself and don't really have anybody and you're a single Pringle out of a stack of Pringles, it's spent, or is supposed to be spent, in my case, laying back after a long shift with some Honkai Star Rail, maybe a couple of champagnes nearby, some chocolate-covered strawberries and brownies nearby. But honestly, that's not how it went. So today we're going to be talking about some spooky stories at work. I'm thinking about doing a series on my channel of spooky stories at work, since I'm only going to be there maybe a year later, maybe a year from now, a year longer, since I'm in a medical assistant program that'll be ending next April, and so I will no longer be at that job, and maybe we'll do some scary stories in the hospital, but that's a whole nother situation. But honestly, let's get back to the whole situation. So spooky stories of today. Valentine's Day was actually spent getting ready for my classes, working out, just having a good old time, and then of course I had work later, right? So I wasn't in a really particular mood. Like, I wasn't sad that I didn't have anybody, that I wasn't spending time with anybody on Valentine's Day, but I also kind of didn't really want to work. I kind of just wanted to spend time with myself and doing some self-care, some self-love. I already worked out, but I also didn't have time to get all cute and put on makeup. But here we go. Here's the makeup look up for Valentine's Day. Got the red lips, the red eyes, the little cat eyes, etc. But when I did go into work, what I first noticed was that there was a whole couple outside. Mind you, I have a whole script written out to kind of like keep me on track, but I'm not really good at like looking at the phone of the script and looking at the camera. So if I get us on a tangent and I just scroll through, that's just gonna be me. But anyways, I walk into work today, or Valentine's Day, and I first noticed this couple outside with, mind you, they were on the patio, so they were like sitting at a little patio bench situation that had like a round table and some chairs around it, and it was full of gifts and food and balloons and flowers, and I was like, oh, that's so cute. Like, I wasn't even like being envious or feeling anything. I was like genuinely happy for them. I'm like, oh, that's so sweet. Like they really went all out for each other. That's so cute. It's giving puppy love. It's giving, this is high school, first crush, first whatever. It's a good time. And so I go into the restroom, do my thing, change my clothes into my uniform, etc., and I get in. It's an all-female shift. Now that's a whole nother situation. Pretty much the person that scheduled the people for this week scheduled everybody to work that day except for the new hires because they were still training, and I guess just forgot to schedule himself because, so there's a whole thing around that. We weren't really like happy about it. Us females kind of thought it was kind of screwed up because, I don't know, take that as you will, but anyways, it was an all female shift, and it was surprisingly busy for Valentine's Day. It was mostly like single parents with their kids or a group of friends that don't have anybody. But there were a few couples that came in, and my brain is thinking like, why would you take your significant other to get a sandwich? Unless they really like sandwiches. I'm not like hating on y'all for nothing like that, but I don't know. I feel like there's like nicer things that you can do. It's giving. Well, it's better. We're better than McDonald's for sure, but it's giving. I'm taking my child to McDonald's for their birthday. I don't know. But anyway, so we had a few more people than we were thinking about, so we were kind of busy, we were kind of bored or exhausted. My back was starting to hurt at the end of it. But other than that, it was a relatively easy shift. We had like good people to work with, good vibes, we were working together pretty well. But at the end of the night, maybe like a good 12 minutes before the shift ended, this old guy came in here. He was super, super tall, very intimidating. He had like a really like unhappy look on his face, and I was like, okay, maybe this guy's going through a hard time. Maybe this guy isn't like he was alone. He seemed like not in a great mood. So I was like, okay, maybe this guy doesn't have anybody to spend Valentine's Day with. Maybe he just had a bad day. Let's try and cheer him up. I go up to him and I'm like, hey, sir, how are you doing? Welcome in, blah, 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 blah. Let me know when you're ready and I can totally help you out. Let me know what you want. And he's like, okay, cool. He like takes a few minutes and he's like, I want a Philly cheesesteak. And I'm like, okay, cool. Our generic one is everything that comes on it is cool. It comes out with onions, peppers, and cheese. He's like, I don't want no onions. And I'm like, okay, no worries. And he's like, I don't want no jalapenos either. And I'm like, okay, for sure. It only comes with peppers and cheese at this point, so you're gonna be good. He's like, well, I want mushrooms on it. And I'm like, okay, cool. We have another sandwich, the 56 Big Kahuna steak, that sounds like what he's describing. It comes with onions, peppers, jalapenos, mushrooms, and an extra slice of cheese. So I was like, okay, maybe this guy usually gets the 56 but doesn't order the jalapenos, but I'm not going to sit here and argue with him because he seems pretty upset. So I'm like, okay, no worries. I take down his order. I make sure that I like ask him what size he wants, and he's like, well, I want the cheapest one. And I'm like, okay, cool, no worries. Our regular size is $11.65 and our giant size is like $19.85. And he's like, well, I want the regular. And I'm like, okay, cool, no worries, I got you. I'm gonna bring you up real quick and then I'll make your sandwich. It'll be cool. He's like, okay, cool. I go up to the register and I'm like kind of sounding exaggerated right now because he was copping attitude for no reason. He sounded very irritated. I just wasn't trying to like poke the bear. I was just trying to like get his sandwich, get his order, and get him out because it's 12 minutes before we close and I want to go. I'm tired, my back hurts, etc. But anyways, I go to the register and I bring up his total, and $11.65 is the total of the regular sandwich, but of course tax plays a key into this whole thing. And so I ring him up and I'm like, okay, cool, your total's gonna be $12.80. And he's like, why is it so much? You told me it's gonna be $11.65. And I was like, well, yeah, but it is $11.65, but if you factor in the tax price, this is what it comes out to. He's like, okay, well, give me a senior discount then. And I'm like, okay, cool, no worries. I like click the senior discount button. Mind you, about a month ago, our prices or our like discount percentages went down because I guess the whole store was giving out too many discounts and basically giving away money. And so corporate came in and was like, well, yeah, we're gonna knock that down. So basically the police, instead of getting 15%, they only get 10, and then the senior citizens, they get 5% instead of 10%. And so I gave him 5% because he's a senior citizen, what he asked for. And it brought the price down. Mind you, 12%, 5% of $12.80, it's pennies and nickels. And so it brought it down to $12.20. And I told him, I was like, okay, cool, your new total is gonna be $12.20. He's like, why is it still so much? You gave me a senior discount, right? And I'm like, yeah. And I explained the situation with corporate stuff, and he's like, okay, whatever. Sorry if my screen's shaking too much. I was like resting my hands here to talk, but whatever, because I talk with my hands a lot, but I'm gonna try not to do that. So he pays for his food, and I'm like, okay, cool, I'm gonna go make your sandwich now. And he's like, cool. He's essentially standing over my shoulder, like standing where he's not really supposed to be standing, behind the bar. He kind of like came over to where the employees walk in and was just staring at me from there. A lot of customers do this. It's really uncomfortable, but you know, it's the last customer of the night. I'm trying to get out of here, and I've been working there for over a year now, so I know my stuff, and it wasn't a big deal. So I'm making his sandwich, and like I said, about a month ago, things were changing. So our ingredients, I guess we were putting too much of like the hot sub stuff, putting too much onions, putting too much peppers, etc. And we were only supposed to put like 6 or 7 pieces of peppers. Like it was giving Krusty Krab skipping on everybody, but I digress. So I'm putting the amount that we were told to put on, and he like comes at me from behind. He's like, why are you putting so much? Why are you skipping me out? And I'm like, no, it's something like that. Like this is, and I explained the situation to him. I was like, we're only supposed to put a little bit back. I can totally put more in you want. I can put the whole jar if you want. No worries, no problem. He's like, okay, we'll put more on my sandwich. And I'm like, okay, cool. I put some more, and I'm like, do you want some more? Is this cool? He's like, that's fine. And I'm like, okay, cool. He's like, you got the mushrooms on there, right? And I'm like, yep, I got them, no worries. I season his steak with salt and pepper like we're supposed to, making the sandwich, whatever. And he's on his phone for the most part, so he's not even paying attention. And later he comes like just every 2 seconds. Did you do this? Did you do that? He's like, did you season my steak? And I'm like, yep, I put salt and pepper on it. Do we have oregano? Do you want that? He's like, no. And I'm like, okay, cool, no worries. I'm like trying to finish up his sandwich. I put this, like, I like transfer the steak to the bread to like transfer it to the paper. And he's like, why didn't you put any mayo on it? And I was like, well, it doesn't come with mayo, but I can totally put whatever you want on it. And he's like, okay, we'll put mayo on it. I put mayo on the bread like we're supposed to. He's like, well, put it on my meat. I don't want it on the bread. And I'm like, the loading screen is going on above my head. I'm like, okay. Not even gonna argue with him, but cool. So I put it on the steak, I put it on the bread like he wanted me to, and I transferred the sandwich to the parchment paper so it can get wrapped and get him on the way. I put it on the parchment paper and like a piece of meat fell off, a couple of pieces fell off. It's just natural. It's just what happens. Like they're little pieces of meat. It's just the whole thing. It's not formed. So I was about to go like put the meat back on the sandwich, but the second I like right before I was gonna do that, he was like, well, the meat's falling on our sandwich. Why aren't you putting it back in? And I'm like, okay, no worries. Don't worry about it. I got you, buddy. I got you. No worries. And I'm like shaking at this point. I'm really like scared. I'm really anxious. Like this is a very tall, intimidating, angry dude. And I got my own little trauma with men back in my day. And I'm just, it's been a long day. Okay. We're all tired. We're all like not in the mood to deal with this stuff, but it is what it is. So I'm like, cool, no worries. I put this stuff in there and we're almost done with the interaction. And I'm trying to get him out of here. I give him his sandwich and I'm like, okay, so can I get you anything else today? He's like, yeah, I want another sandwich. And I'm like, okay, cool, no worries. I'm like losing my crap here. I'm like seconds from just exploding and just like inside, like I just feel blood boiling up to my brain. And I'm just like, I want to scream so bad. And so I'm like, okay, cool, no worries. He was on his phone for the most part. He was like on the phone, so he was talking to somebody. So while I'm making his sandwich the second time, it like nothing happened, like nothing like was said or anything. I made it the exact same way. He didn't have a problem with it. It was cool. I go to ring him up the second time, again, no issues. He finally walks out the door and I feel like a sense of relief. I feel safety. I feel calm, but also not calm because I'm super anxious and I'm up to here with my emotions. Like I'm short as hell. I'm up to here, bro. Like I'm just about to like explode. I go to the back door and the couple from earlier at the beginning of the story forgot to mention as the night went on, as the busier we got, as the like zoning out and just thinking in my head, damn, it's Valentine's Day and my single ass is working at freaking Jersey Mike's with the busy shift and it's not like I had anything planned today, but blah, blah, blah. Like I was just starting to overthink and pretty much the couple was like starting to get more and more irritated. Like they were just vibing, they were just being cute and coupled stuff. And I was just like, just getting really irritated. I'm like, like it's a big slap in the face. He's like dangling a carrot in front of my face in front of a plexiglass window. Like I'm not gonna get it. Like what? But I digress. So I go outside to the back door. I like open it so I can let out this hearty war cry, this scream, this just all this anger and energy so you need to get out. And I open the door and I see like something in front of me to my right and I look. The couple, mind you, they're like probably 16 or less or more, like they're underage. They're pressed up against the back alley of a Jersey Mike's, making out like it's the apocalypse and their lives are depending on it. Like it was starting to get, it wasn't no nudity, but it was getting to be a bit much. I looked at them and that was the breaking point. I won't lie. I was like, what did it for me? I like took the door, slammed it as hard as I could to like make a statement like y'all suck for that. And then I just like went into the mop closet. Super embarrassing. I went to the mop closet area and just started crying. Super crappy, super pitiful. Like I couldn't punch anything because it's the store. I couldn't scream because it's the other employees are there. They'd be like, Jen, are you good? Like, why are you screaming? And they're also irritated because they have men to go to and they're trying to get out. And I'm like we're all up to here. We're like, all three of us are just, it was a night for us. And what made this experience so anxiety inducing, like it's already pretty terrifying as a female who has gone through a lot, who has like a lot of trauma when it comes to altercations and confrontations and isn't trying to deal with all that stuff, especially when I'm on the clock getting paid to deal with your foolishness. But what makes it worse is about a week ago, we had a similar situation and it's crazy because it was the same people on the shift. Same people, same females, same women, and a guy came in, same situation, started off with me and just started yelling to everybody. And it blew up. It became a whole thing. Like police got involved. It was a whole situation. And literally the girls were just trying to stand up for me. They were, and super respectfully too. They were like, "Sir, we're gonna have to ask you to leave. Like you've been having an issue with everybody. We're trying to help you out, but you're not really like letting us help you. So we're gonna have to ask you to leave." Just got all angry. And it's not even like that entitled, like it was expectant, like we were just supposed to bow down and be like, "Oh sir, what can I get for you?" Like sweetest angels. And so it just got into this whole thing. And so flashback to now, like the entire time this whole situation was going on, in my brain I'm like, don't let this happen again. Don't let this whole thing be repeated. This can, like, it's the same people. Like, don't let this get out of control. Be on your best behavior. Like, bending over backwards to kiss his ass, essentially, to get him out, to, like, let us be safe from this whole, like, just, it was giving, like, a monster vibes. It was just scary. But all that to say, guys, if you're coming into a restaurant, and mind you, I forgot what I wanted to say. Like, that whole situation wasn't okay. And there's so many customers that come in entitled, disrespectful, taking out their crappy day on the employees. And guys, it's really like, I'm not telling like guys, like whoever's watching this, like I'm sure we've all had a Karen experience, but it's just not cool. Like, we're getting paid minimum wage, $15 an hour, to deal with all that foolishness. And it's not like we don't have a life outside of this. It's not like we don't have stressors outside of this that we're already dealing with. In situations like this, it just really sucks. You know what I'm saying? It's like, why do we have to put up with all this foolishness for $15 an hour? For $60 a day, essentially, depending on how many hours you work. But just be kinder to each other, guys. Just be like nicer. Just have a little bit more patience, because everyone's day is going to be how everyone's day is. And it's not cool to take it out on others. But anyway, that's going to be it for me, guys. That's going to do it for this spooky Valentine's Day session. If you like this video, be sure to like this video. Put down in the comments what you did for Valentine's Day. I hope your guys' day was way better than mine was. I hope you guys had a lot of fun. And honestly, when I came back home and like got to chill and stuff like that, my night was pretty good. I ended up playing Honkai Star Rail until I went to sleep like I wanted, and it was just a solid night. But anyways, if you like this video, please subscribe to the channel so that you can get updates for more content. Next week, or in a few days from now on Monday, I'm going to be posting another what I do in a week to work out and lose weight. I am on it's so cheesy. I'm not going to say journey. I'm not going to say goal. Like, I want to get down to 150, and I've never been down to 150. And honestly, just join the party, join the vibes, enjoy the content that I create. And we're just here for a good time. We're here for a long time, and we're here to just have fun and make memories and just enjoy life. So yeah, that's going to be it from me, guys. Have a good time. Have a good day. And remember, you are awesome. You are unique, and nobody else can be like you. There is not another person on this earth that can be like you, biologically, physiologically, mentally, spiritually, etc., etc., etc. But that's going to be it from me, guys. Bye.